Game 5, Stanley Cup Finals. The series returns to Carolina, Golden Knights, and the Hurricanes. And well, Carm, what do we have here? We have a tied series, and that's what we want to see in the Stanley Cup Finals. You had Carolina. I had Carolina first period. I think a lot of us at wagertalk.com had the Carolina Hurricanes. We'll find out what the move is for Game 5 as it's now back in Carolina. Carm, obviously you were just flashing us the trophy. I got the jersey on today. You're doing content like nobody else. It's also World Cup Day, man. Big day today.
The World Cup is here. Kicking off 3 p.m. Mexico. That stadium, and I was supposed to be there. But everything is congested into 3 days. There's no way I could make it down to Mexico, even though it was like a VIP suite. I'm so pissed, but I got the Canada game tomorrow, 3 p.m. But Mexico kicks off against South Africa, and then there's the second. The other two teams in the group play tonight, a late night game as well too, as South Korea takes on Czech Republic. And if you want the winner of that game, you better watch Wager Talk today at the top of the hour. I am going to talk about that game and the Mexico game, so you guys can get a couple of winners as well too. And as far as NHL goes, Andrew, I've already loaded tonight's winner. It's there on my page. There's no question about it. It's a winning play. It could be a side. It could be a total. Who knows? But anyways, I'm looking forward to it. This is going to be a fantastic Game 5 tonight, number one. And then number two is there's a Game 6. I'm in Vegas for Game 6. There's a Game 6. I booked circa Stadium Swim, a cabana from like 8 in the morning till like 4 in the afternoon. And then, because the game starts at 5, Vegas time, I booked the outdoor cabana. Hopefully the temperature is a little bit better because it's going to be scorching hot for the rest of the night. They're showing obviously a watch party for the Vegas Golden Knights and UFC on Sunday.
Are you going to the game? Are you going to go?
Tickets are just priced out, man.
Just enjoy the cabana. Enjoy the cabana.
Dude, I spent an uncomfortable amount of money on the World Cup and the Canada game tomorrow in specific because the stupid Italians were supposed to be there, but we're not there. We're resting for the 12th consecutive year. But with that said, I'm going to enjoy the game tomorrow. I just hope this World Cup goes as good as the NBA and NHL playoffs have gone. NBA's incredible. If you had San Antonio last night, you're just like, oh, yeah. And then all of a sudden it's like,
crazy.
It's just
crazy.
Unbelievable. And who scores the winning basket? Former Toronto Raptor, OG.
Yeah, he's been the unsung hero for sure. And Carm, we're bearing the lead here. All right. NHL Game 5.
Let's do it.
World Cup starts today. The CFL tonight, too. Come on. Don't forget about the CFL.
What? They haven't canceled that? No, I'm just kidding.
I got to play as well, guys, tonight in the CFL. So CFL play and hockey play for me tonight at wagertalk.com. But Carm, you and I both were winners the last time out here. We're seeing a big boost now, right? As it goes back to Carolina, as now they have kind of regained the confidence and momentum within this series here. We now see a huge shift in the odds, of course, with the home ice advantage now back in favor of Carolina, minus 160. The only question we really ask ourselves here, Carm, is, how much do we care about home ice advantage? I've been preaching to the choir about how, hey, look, this is one team that I care about home ice for. One team. And yet, in their last couple games, we haven't seen it as much. But I got to ask you here. You're the price guy. We talk prices all year together. Does this home ice still matter to you? And are you, inclined to take this price, even though it's now shifted from a minus 115 back up to a minus 160?
Andrew, it's somewhat insane when you look at these the prices. I get it. They're essentially, with the exception of the total, which is at 6. is they're replicating the game one lines in Carolina, where it was like 155 for Carolina, minus 155, and it was like plus 130-ish for the Vegas Golden Knights. The total back then was 5.5. It's now at 6, and it rightfully so at 6, because every game has gone over the number. But you look at like some of the totals, and like even like the first period total. I'm going to talk about the first period total first before I lose that thought process. Vegas Golden Knights still profitable on the over on the road. 10 games they've played, 6 have gone over the total. And then the Carolina Hurricanes, they played 9 games at home and 6 have gone over the total. Also a profitable situation. So you're looking for a play in the first period. It's sort of like every single game, with the exception of one that was scoreless after one period, and then the game still finished 5-4, which is incredible. It's just you plug and play. You say, I'm going to take the first period over. I thought, Andrew, I thought making the change to Brandon Boucher would spark Carolina, and maybe it did, in the sense of he didn't allow any bad goals in, but the Vegas Golden Knights still solved them. And then you have Carter Hart, who's the first goalie to allow 4 or more goals in the first 4 games of a Stanley Cup Finals. So try and convince me that either one of these teams can play, isn't going to score goals tonight. I talked about it on the best betting show ever the other day yesterday with Joe Ranieri. Is you start looking at team totals, and you're a team total guy. So I'm going to throw it right back at you. It's like Carolina's 3.5. Vegas I think is 2.5 for the team totals. I'm not sure what the VIG is. What do you do as far as the team totals? Because how do you suddenly come up with, looking at the data, and even though some of the data suggests that some of these games should have been lower scoring, how do you come up with a solid argument that says, I'm going to take the under? You can sort of fabricate something and say, this is game 5. It's back in Carolina. They're going to shut it down. They are going to play extremely tough hockey. What have they been doing for the first 4 games of this series? The Vegas Golden Knights are finding ways to score. Carolina is finding ways to score as well too. It just seems like it's last goal wins. And the other thing is, you're almost better waiting for someone to get a 2-goal lead in this series and then just betting the other team. It is insane. Every single game has had a 2-goal lead blown. And in some cases they've held on to win, kind of like Carolina did in game 4. But Andrew, with that said, like the over has to be the play here. Over 6 minus 113, and then the first period over. It's Joe used the phrase. Joe Ranieri used the phrase, "If it ain't broke, don't fix it."
Yeah, I mean, how could you argue it, right? Like, I had a buddy of mine for the last game. He took under 6.5 alternate number in a parlay with some props and stuff. And Carm, I'm telling you, within 2.5 minutes, he bet under 8.5 live. Like, it took him 2 minutes to bet under 8.5. And thank God that hit with landing on 5-3 for the final score line. But it is true. And look, I'll go on record. I said it to you. Like, look, my official play was Carolina first period, but I was on the show. I was on Sports Grid. I was on our channel. I said Carolina needs an under. Carolina needs an under. And obviously the coaching staff's not going to be in the room talking about betting lines, but I'm just shocked. This has now been 6 straight games where the Carolina Hurricanes have scored at least 4 goals. 6 straight. And when you look at what this team has been able to do, actually, not even 6 straight, actually. That marks it at 7. This is a team that's been able to score. And the crazy thing is, they've been able to score without Sebastian Aho, without Seth Jarvis, without Andrei Svechnikov. We saw Jordan Staal go from 75-1 for the Conn Smythe, Carm, and in just a few days, he was down to 6-1 to win the Conn Smythe. What a change. I mean, the captain of that team, I was on a show, and I had some people saying to me and asking me which player's legacy would be elevated the most if they were to win the Stanley Cup. People were talking about Mitch Marner, of course, Jack Eichel. We were talking about even John Tortorella as a coach. But when it comes down to it, for me, with a guy like Jordan Staal, what he's been able to do at winning a cup when he was young with Pittsburgh, and then now potentially winning the cup as a veteran, as the captain of this team, it's simply incredible. So I think that he is pretty good there. Carm, I believe when you left us there for a second, we lost all the graphics that you had up on the screen for us. They left when you left. But
They're
that
back.
said, look, Seth says it himself. Like, how could you possibly look towards an under when it comes to these two teams? And there's really no analysis you could put towards it. The only thing I would say is that a lot of these series throughout the entire playoffs, we have seen, and Carm mentioned it, we have seen get lower scoring as the series progresses. And now it goes back to Carolina. And call me crazy, Carm, I still think that Carolina wants to play a defensive way. And I'm going to tell you this. There's not a chance in hell that they're going to change goalies. Brandon Bussi wasn't very good.
Yeah.
And so that's a problem because, I wanted to kind of be contrarian. I wanted to play the under, but I'm still not convinced because I don't think Brandon Bussi played very well. So I'm going to have to take a hard look at how I approach this if I want to take a defensive score. But when it ultimately comes down to it, if you want facts, the first period over is hitting at a phenomenal rate. And it's now been, 7 or 8 games where Carolina has scored, not even just in wins, in losses too, they've scored at least 4 goals. So between Brandon Bussi, Freddie Anderson, and Kata Hatt, how could you not like goals here, Carm?
Yeah, and that's the thing. But like when I stress the fact that the teams are outplaying the sort of the analytic numbers in this one, we can go back to like game 1. So game 1 at all strengths, which includes obviously power plays, empty netters. The combined XG was 635, and there was like 9 goals in the game. Game 2, 7 goals in the game. The combined XG for these two teams was 577, well below still. Game 3, a 5-4 game. The XG in that game was at the very least competitive. It was 8.03. So 8 goals of XG, 5-4 final. Last game, 5-3 final, and the combined XG in that was 5.52. 5.52. They score 8 goals. One's an empty netter, but that is factored into the XG, Andrew, as well too. The numbers suggest unders, but you have to have like a brass set of cojones to want to be able to take the under with these two teams. And I can't see Tortorella going away from Carter Hart. Why would he? I think one of the reasons why, and again, this was discussed on another show, that Vegas fired their coaches, they stuck with Adin Hill for the longest time. Now you want to bring in Adin Hill fresh off the bench. The guy hasn't played in probably a month's time or more, and you want to bring him in a pressure-packed game 5. No. It's got to be Carter Hart. I would imagine I would feel even better about the over, Andrew, if they switch to Adin Hill in this one, because he's not going to be right. We'll see what we're also going to have to see what Rod Brind'Amour does, because there was nothing wrong, no injury to Freddie Anderson other than maybe his ego, because he's been lit up in this series. But you look at it, he wasn't even the backup. It was Kochetkov was the backup for game 4. So Freddie wasn't even on the bench. They completely gave him the night off. Sit in the press box maybe and watch the game from a different angle and see what is going on. If you're Rod Brind'Amour and you wanted a big game 4, but it wasn't a standout goalie performance that did it for you, are you going back to Freddie Anderson tonight?
No, you just can't. You can't change if someone won for you. That's the thing. You can't win. And see how emotional he was after the game. He's embracing it. He's probably going to be better tonight, I would say, because he got his legs under him. I mean, you got to say it's been a long time. Like Carm, we always forget how long these playoffs are. I mean, here in Eastern Canada for us here, for me and you, it's hot outside now. I went outside today for a walk this morning and get a coffee. It was warm. We're not supposed to be playing hockey when it's this hot out here in Canada. It's not supposed to be a thing. It's been weeks. It's been like over a month and a half. We've been in the playoffs. I mean, this goalie hasn't played a game in forever. So you got to think he's probably going to be even better tonight. I mean, you can't look. I mean, some of the goals he let in weren't great, but also if you took a shot for every time there was a breakaway in this series, you'd be just hammered. You'd be stumbling down the stairs. I mean, why are these teams giving up so many breakaways? And I honestly feel like it's been kind of a coaching masterclass by John Tortorella, figuring out the Carolina Hurricanes system a little bit here, though. Carm, I'm so intrigued by the total of this game. The books are saying, you know what? You guys have seen everything you had to see, and here we go. Here's another 6 for you. So it's going to be real interesting to take a look here. Ralph Michaels, fade or follow stat from him. Carm, you want to read it, or I can?
Yeah. So this is since 2006. There's been 9 such situations where the teams were tied at 2 going into a game 5. It says like heavy favorites of -125 or more. I don't consider honestly heavy favorites -125. I would consider 155, which the price is tonight, at being a heavier price. But those teams are 6-1, a very good win rate. Small favorites, basically a pick 'em, kind of like what the last game was, 0-2. So it's a very small sample size, but somewhat important. The last one we had that Ralph Michaels gave us indicated Carolina winning and the overhitting, and both happened. So kudos to Ralph Michaels on sending us to this info. We really appreciate it from him. Andrew, I get it. It's a small sample size, but I don't think it's something you can hang your hat on. Per se. Like, the interesting thing is this series still remains as it's been a zigzag series. It's not a betting angle, but it's unbelievable. And maybe that's why the teams are like evenly matched and why we're tied at 2. It's like Vegas wins, Carolina wins. Vegas wins, Carolina wins. So you would think, well, Vegas has got to win tonight. Well, no, because that's not a betting angle. If they win, they're just going to win. But it is absolutely this NHL this season. I kept saying it, and this might be the last time I say it because it could be our last show. But it is like a series like no other. Absolutely phenomenal, a season like no other, and the playoffs have proven it. Give me these playoffs each and every year, man, and I'd be a happy man. You can't complain, and nobody can complain about the way the series has gone. So
no lead is safe. No lead is safe. That's for sure.
No lead is safe. Andrew, I want to harp back to I get the World Cup's coming, and I'll talk about it in a second, just because I'm doing a couple of shows and we're going to talk about it. But man, guys, if and then I'm going to respond to a comment from our good friend Seth. But guys, it doesn't matter if you're betting hockey, basketball, curling, football, the money spends the same way. Yep. Andrew is on an insane CFL run, and the season has just started. And this dates back to last year. You guys got to take advantage of that package. He does a CFL show. He puts a ton of time into it. Show him some love and head over to his page.
Carm, I appreciate it, brother. 7-0 run. 10-2, a little bit longer term there. $299, guys. Code CFL 299. Get the full season at a great package. Look, again, Carm mentioned it. You don't have to watch it. You don't have to love it. If you like football, get yourself through the summer before college football and NFL begins. It's a soft market. The lines move. I feel confident attacking some of these numbers. And 2-0 start to the season. I'll tell you what, it was pretty smooth sailing. I can't guarantee this weekend we're going to have 2 easy winners like we did last week, but hopefully we can cash some tickets. Once again, that's promo code CFL299, 7-0 run. And oh yeah, Carm, I forgot to mention, we got our first 5% play of the season going this weekend in the CFL. Nice. Love this one. Great price, I think. Great number. We're going to cash some tickets. And speaking of CFL, our boy Don Buster is in the chat. What's up, Buster? Good to have you here as always. Buster says, great stat by Ralph. Personally, he hopes it's wrong, though. And he said, Carmine, pay the price and go to that game 6.
You know, Seth says the same thing because I talked about booking the cabana and stuff. Here's the difference. And I explained to you guys the difference of booking 2 cabanas, essentially, so I get the full day at Circa Stadium Swim, is that I've got friends coming who are in Vegas that are there to watch or there to play the World Series of Poker. They're coming and they're splitting the bill on the cabana. So the cabana is going to cost me a couple $100 because there's 7 guys or whatever, 8 guys coming to watch the game, UFC and Game 6, and I'll be watching soccer during the day from the cabana. It's a lot different than hypothetically the Vegas Golden Knights win tonight and Game 6. The tickets, the get-in price is going to be at least $1,600, $1,700 US. For a ticket. It's going to be for a chance to see Vegas. It's the hypothetical of Vegas closing it out on home ice and lifting the trophy. I want to see the trophy lifted, but not for $1,600 or $1,700 US. So that, Seth, hopefully answers your question, my good friend.
I do have bad news for you, though.
I do have bad news. That's a cool guy as well, too, man. He's got a company that sells some really good. Apparently, Andy Lang has tried it on air, like beef jerky and stuff. So,
oh, cool.
Seth's the man. Yeah,
I had no idea. Seth, you shipping to Canada?
He actually
I'll buy.
Did make me an offer to
I've got some bad news for you, though. You might not want to hear this. You're a hockey fan. You're a World Cup fan. I don't know if you're aware of what day the UFC is this week. They're putting it on a Sunday this week.
Yeah. That's why I said on Sunday. Yeah. So they're gonna. Let me tell you, Stadium.
You got it for just Saturday night.
No, Sunday.
Oh, okay.
Because Sunday is Game 6 and Sunday's UFC. So Stadium Swim has that monster-sized TV. The Golden Knights game will be on the big one. UFC will be on the smaller ones. And everyone is just going to have Seth.
Seth, he's got a new car parked in his driveway that you can't get that money back.
Yeah, it's got. I had to get my wife something that had air conditioning in it and stuff because, man, I just didn't want to peel myself off the seats. But with that
Buster,
said,
he's coming at you again. Buster wants you to go to the game. You got to go.
If I had Buster's money, I would burn mine. The guy is a guy who's living in Mexico, and he probably hangs out with some of the cartel guys and picking avocados and what have you. Anyways, Andrew, let me quickly talk because I got another show coming up, guys.
Okay, I've got props to mention after, Carm. Okay.
Yeah. The World Cup comes up, and then I'll mention a quick pod as well too. World Cup comes, so I'll just do my sales thing right now. It kicks off today, 3 p.m. Mexico and South Africa. If you go to the Wager Talk website and click on free plays, and you click on soccer or World Cup, you're going to see a bunch of free plays from me. I'm trying to post daily free plays throughout the World Cup. Some of them are my lowest ranked client plays, but they're still client plays, 1.5 or 2%. None of my 3 or 4 or 5% plays will be posted, obviously, as free plays because it's unfair to my clients who have bought the World Cup package. And if you want that World Cup package, you head over to my page at wt.buzz/CB. So a couple games and a couple plays up for today in World Cup action. And a winning play in tonight's NHL game. So with that said, Andrew, I will catch my breath before I give out a pod, and you will give us some player props.
All right, brother. Yes. Pod coming up here from Carm. For me, guys, I just want to shout out some player props here and kind of some guys that are on hot streaks here. Parlay leg. I mean, Mitch Marner, he's got a 0.4 of his last 5. And oh, yeah, did we forget to mention in game 3, he had a 4-point first period. So don't forget about that one. But here's one guy that's been really, really good for the Vegas Golden Knights, whether it's shots on goal or whether it's an assist, guys. Shea Theodore, defenseman, has a 0.4 of his last 5 games. More specifically, you can grab him for an assist as well for a nice plus price. But the point is at minus 105 for Shea Theodore. Pretty good number there. Same thing for Braden McNabb. I'm shocked by this. Plus 210. Braden McNabb, plus 210 for a point prop. These defensemen are doing incredibly well. But Carm, I talked about it, man. Logan Stankoven, he's carrying the way. That second line's been fantastic. How is he still only at minus 125 for a point? I mean, if I'm playing this game, I'm playing player props for sure. I will have a player prop, at least one, for clients tonight in the NHL. And last but certainly not least, how are you not betting Brett Howden to get a goal at this point? The guy has been phenomenal. Carm, I got to bring you back on the screen for this. This guy, he is signed for a contract for $2.5 million a year for the next 5 years. This guy has scored more goals in the playoffs than he did during an 82-game regular season. They have him signed. Like, at this point, does he fire his own agent? Does he just fire his own management staff? I mean, I couldn't believe it. $2.5 million. He makes as much as some of the fighters in the league. He makes as much as some of the guys that play 5 minutes a game. This guy has a goal like every second game in the NHL playoffs. So it's hard to argue if anybody wants to take Brett Howden to score a goal again. But Logan Stankoven, minus 125 to get a point. The guy's been on an absolute roll, man. So I'll take a look at that.
Andrew, here's the surprising thing, which I want to talk about quickly before the pod, is that prior to game 4, Mitch Marner was like minus 200 or whatever to win the Conn Smythe. He's now minus 105 because I think it's Taylor Hall. Taylor Hall is now plus 380. Logan Stankovic, who I mentioned on the show that this guy is like a dark horse because he's scoring goals. And the Carolina Hurricanes are 10-0 in the playoffs when Logan Stankoven has scored a goal. On the show with Joe Ranieri and the Prez, I gave out Logan Stankoven to score, and he scored like a minute into the game at plus 230. I'm like, all right, I'm done. I don't need to watch this, but I did, of course, watch the game. But the price is coming down, and you got to figure like what is happening here. Are they banking on the Canes to win tonight, and then close out this series in Vegas? Because if they are, then maybe if Taylor Hall is a big part of it or Stankoven's a part of it, maybe one of them wins it or they split the votes. But this might be a very buy low price on Mitch Marner if the Vegas Golden Knights win tonight and then close it off at home.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, look, I was talking about, is it even worth it taking him at minus 200 before the last game? So it'd be hard not to argue taking him now at this buy low price. And the big question we ask ourselves again is, how much is home ice going to matter? You know, we'll see. But all we know is this. The last time the Hurricanes played at home, I believe it was obviously game 2. You know, they didn't look like themselves. So very curious to see what they end up doing. Carm, what we learned a lot last night in the NBA, because as much as some guys made some horrible mistakes, coaching matters. Coaching matters. And in the NHL, I know some guys in the chat, they get after me for talking about this all the time. The last change is an important factor in hockey. This is up to Rod Brendamore. You got to do something. You got to make some good moves. You got to utilize your lines properly. Look, I don't care how many bad plays were made yesterday in the NBA game, Carm. You can't blow a 32-point lead. If you're a coach, you made mistakes. because your team was up 30-something points. So if you're Rod Brendamore, you go back at home now, you got to win this game. So, Carm, Logan Stankoven for me, I definitely lean towards that player prop. I like it. Some player shot props, I think. Shea Theodore shot prop, point prop, shot prop. And when it comes to this game, look, I think it's going to be real interesting. I think we could see a slow start, and then we see some goals afterwards. But I do have a play up at wagertalk.com. Why don't you close it out, man? Best bet for me.
All right.
This tonight in CFL action, 5% play this weekend, and I'll be on Wager Talk tomorrow, which my girlfriend always tells me that sounds very weird to say. I'm going to be on Wager Talk tomorrow. But anyway, that's it for me. Carm.
Let's go before Joe fires me off of the next show. Listen, just a quick note. The Knicks won because Taylor Swift was at the game yesterday. The Taylor Magic was in play yesterday. With that said, the pod play, I don't have a graphic, but it's going to be the first period over in this game. It seems to be working fine. It's been profitable for both teams in this situation, with Canes at home, Vegas on the road. And I'm going to look for another one here. Over 1.5, minus 120 is your pod play. And if there's going to be a game 6. Andrew and I are going to try and figure out how to do a video for game 6 before I take off for the Canada game and then take off for Vegas on Saturday. So we'll figure it out and get it to you guys, even if I have to record it from Stadium Swim or Circa, Andrew. With that said, guys, listen, we appreciate you guys tuning in each and every day. The Pucksters are the best live audience and that we have over at Wager Talk. So, guys, have a phenomenal weekend. And if you're following me in the World Cup, let's have a great World Cup as well, too. For myself, Andrew McInnis, and Wager Talk, guys, beat your book.